After almost 2 years, the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. In an incredible display of courage and determination, the Ukrainians continue to resist a bloodthirsty invader. The heroic resistance of Ukraine has been greatly aided by significant military support from other states. Other states have provided Ukraine with massive amounts of military equipment. Many leftists openly detest this military support. Many leftists seem to detest the idea of helping a country defend itself from a bloodthirsty aggressor. I think that this is idiotic. Ukraine should get support from other states. The USA should give Ukraine weapons. This is a righteous course of action. A people heroically defending themselves from a far stronger aggressor should be given what they need to be victorious. Such military support discourages aggressive behavior on the part of states. The more difficult and costly the invasion is, the more undesirable future military action becomes. States are less likely to attack other states if they know that those states will receive significant military support from other states. This serves to discourage war and prevent the massive suffering that accompanies it. If Ukraine did not receive military support, a Russian victory would be far easier and much more likely. This would encourage such behavior and embolden other states to act the same. Military support sends a message that attacking other countries is not rewarding. Attacking other countries is not worth it. Morally speaking, the USA is in no position to criticize the foreign policy of anybody else. The USA does not support Ukraine for the right reasons. But this does not change the fact that the consequences of that support are good. I do not care if military support is hypocritical or motivated by bad intentions. First and foremost, I am interested in consequences, and the consequences here seem to be good. Such military support discourages states from attacking each other and pursuing invasions in the future. This prevents future wars and the massive suffering that accompanies them. If everybody stood by and did nothing as Russia conquered Ukraine, the suffering would have been immense. And the Russian victory would encourage aggressive behavior from Russia in the future. Furthermore, such a victory would send a message that attacking other states is both acceptable and rewarding, emboldening many states to pursue military action against their neighbors. It is important to discourage such behavior by demonstrating that it is not rewarding. Nothing demonstrates that aggressive behavior is unrewarding as effectively as arming the would-be victims of that aggression does. A democracy that courageously defends itself against an attack by a significantly larger authoritarian regime should be supported. The international community should not sit by and watch as large states brutalize and butcher their smaller neighbors. Such conduct is totally unacceptable. Many will point out that the USA is hypocritical on this issue, and I agree entirely. But I would prefer that the USA be inconsistently good over consistently bad. Consistency is not worth much if you are being consistently terrible. I would prefer that the USA be opposed to bloodthirsty foreign policy some of the time rather than never. Consistently supporting war crimes is not a good thing. I prefer inconsistency. Military support for Ukraine is good and should continue. The international community should not sit by and do nothing as states are attacked and their citizens massacred by their neighbors. States should be given the support that they need to defend themselves from such barbarism. Aggression should not be encouraged by silence and inaction from the international community. Such behaviour empowers and emboldens the most malicious actors in the international realm. Giving Ukraine weaponry and training is very important. The USA should be aiding Ukraine's war effort. This is a good thing. Some claim that the USA should focus on its own people first. Internationalism is leftist, not this weird nationalistic isolationism. Everyone benefits from that which furthers a stable world order. And it is not as if the two choices are support Ukraine or have Medicare for all. Realistically, the money would probably have gone somewhere far worse had it not gone to Ukraine. The military-industrial complex will get what it wants one way or another. Would you prefer that it go to Ukraine or Israel? That is perhaps a slightly more accurate choice. US military support in the form of weapons and training aids a democracy in a struggle against a far-right autocratic aggressor. Such support discourages further aggression from Russia by showing it that aggression is not a good idea. Some argue that the USA should not act like the world police. Would they also oppose the USA sending weapons and supplies to Britain during World War II? States should support righteous causes and oppose the actions of bloodthirsty tyrants. Some point out that the USA has bad intentions. Of course they do, but the consequences of their bad intentions happen to be good in this case. States should support one another when supporting one another is good. Some leftists are talking about how the state must look after their own. I thought we were meant to be internationalists. And it is not as if the resources going to Ukraine would be allocated to anything better if they did not go to Ukraine. They would almost certainly go to a far worse state. The Ukrainians are fighting valiantly against a bloodthirsty aggressor. They should be given all of the support that they require. Bloodthirsty aggression must be discouraged. Nothing discourages bloodthirsty aggression quite like giving weapons to its intended victims. If other states do not support Ukraine, Ukraine is far more likely to be defeated. This will embolden states to act aggressively, as they will come to see doing so as in their interest. If the international community does nothing to prevent aggression and invasion, then states will be emboldened and empowered to pursue such actions. That means more war and more suffering. That is the reality. Of course, the US has bad intentions, but the consequence is for once good. I would prefer that somebody do a good thing for a bad reason than not do a good thing at all. The USA should provide Ukraine with military support. All states should provide Ukraine with military support. This is a good thing. Some claim that this will provoke Russia into going nuclear. I do not think that a state possessing nuclear weapons gives them the right to behave however they wish, unchallenged. Such a precedent will embolden these states to act recklessly, in doing so increasing the probability of nuclear war. Military support for Ukraine has not provoked Russia into going nuclear. Russia would have to be totally insane to go nuclear over military support. Such a policy would amount to suicide, and Putin may be deranged, but I think that he is at least aware of that. Failing to give Ukraine support will embolden aggressive regimes, causing increased conflict and inevitably increasing the probability of nuclear conflict. Some condemn military support for Ukraine on the grounds that the USA should not be the world police. The logical conclusion of this mindless isolationist approach is a USA that sits back and does nothing as strong states genocide and enslave the people of weaker states. That is the reality. The Ukrainians are heroically fighting a brutal authoritarian aggressor who is many times larger than them. They deserve support that goes beyond meaningless thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers don't get you very far on a battlefield. Javelin missiles and F-16s do.